So first of all, thank you all for coming to another Sigma Psi event. I'm delighted once again to see a good crowd of Louisvillians with an interest in science. My name is Chris Graney, and I am Professor of Physics and Astronomy at Jefferson Community and Technical College here in Louisville. And I am also President of the Louisville chapter of Sigma Psi, the Scientific Research Society. Now, Sigma Psi was founded in 1886, so it is an old organization. Its mission is to enhance the health of the research enterprise, to foster integrity in science and engineering, and to promote the public's understanding of science for the purposes of improving the human condition. The Louisville chapter dates to the 1950s. Our membership consists in large part of researchers in science, medicine, and engineering from the University of Louisville, such as our treasurer here, Dr. Lawrence Gettleman. Where are you at? There. Oh, there it's bigger. From the U of L School of Dentistry. But we also have members from industry and from other institutions, members such as myself. We want and we need new members. Full membership is open to those who are publishing scientific research, but there are student and associate members available as well. So please see me or Dr. Gettleman after the talk if you would like to be part of the Louisville chapter and to help make events like this continue to happen in Louisville. Sigma Psi is not making this happen on its own, however. I thank my college, Jefferson Community and Technical College. Our president, Ty Handy, was able to direct some funding toward this event. You may know that right now is a pretty rough time in the Kentucky Community and Technical College system, so that support is all the more appreciated. Just like Sigma Psi is looking for members, Jefferson is looking for students, so sign up to take a class this fall. I can recommend some fine science faculty at Jefferson. Jefferson is a teaching institution. Were I not active in research, I would not be in Sigma Psi, but there's no publisher parish at Jefferson. Still, we Jefferson faculty are asked to serve the community and the institution, to advise our students, and to engage in professional activity. And this can result in things like tonight's program, a scientific activity that is of value even if it does not produce publications or grant money or patents. Lastly, I thank the library, and especially Paul Burns and Art Dietz, who was just up before me. This is actually quite a team that has made this evening happen. Sigma Psi, Jefferson, and the library, and of course our speaker. This is not the first project involving Sigma Psi, Jefferson, and the library, and I don't think it's going to be the last. If you want to know why working with the library is so much fun and such a great thing, walk out and look at the Harry Potter stuff that they have produced down in the Diagon Alley and out in the lobby, and you've got an idea of why it's really cool to work with the library. Right? This brings me to ask some questions of people here just to get an idea of who comes to these things. So if you could just give me a show of hands. First of all, how many people here saw any of the following? The Inspired Science exhibit that was here at the library a couple of years ago, the Dinosaurs exhibit, or the Lee Dukatkin talk at the Fraser Museum on Mr. Jefferson and the Giant Moose. All of these involve Sigma Psi and Jefferson in some way. Show of hands. Okay, a few people, good. How many people attended the Beneath the Same Skies event here at the library that involved, in December, it was with Ormsby Mitchell and Guy Consolmagno on astronomy. How many people were here for that? Okay, thank you. Now, how many of the people here who are here learned about this event through the library or its newsletter or one of its announcements? Okay, thank you. And how many people who are here learned about this event through a spot on public radio? Okay, thank you. And how many learned about it through a U of L Today announcement? All right. And how many through Jefferson? Okay. And how many through Sigma Psi directly? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We need information like that. Now, before I introduce Professor Weiblen, Dr. Gettleman has a few things to say about some scientists who are a little bit more local and generally somewhat younger. So, Larry?
Chris. Sigma Xi, among other things, judges the regional science fairs. There are two in Louisville. One is the Louisville Regional Science and Engineering Fair, and the other one is the DuPont Manual High School, Mizzique Middle School Science Fair. And we have one of the winners of the science fair with the project in the back, and two of the two people that won the project and one of their teachers is here. And so I'd like to recognize Daya Mathur, 11th grade at DuPont Manual High School, and Sophia Corner. Can you come on up?
Give a certificate and a check for $50 and a subscription to American Scientist magazine. So there you go. I hope you compete again next year in the science fair. We will judge everyone again the same way. Did I get them backwards? I got them backwards. So, okay. Congratulations.
Check out their project in the back. It deals with haptic sensation for artificial arm prostheses. So the project is there. The poster board is in the back, and Mr. Skip Swanzik is one of their teachers. He's also there as well. So I hope you go back at the end of our program and congratulate them. The other two winners who are not here is Suryam Satyavolu, from 10th grader student from Kentucky Country Day, and Vishal Balamurugan, 10th grade from North Oldham High School. His project is on stimulation of islet cell vascular growth for the treatment of type 1 diabetes, and Suryam is activated carbon fibers for sustainable agricultural sources for hydrogen storage. These are science projects by high school kids, folks. And they won our science.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, now, tonight's speaker on the Cannabis Conundrum comes to us through Sigma Chi's Distinguished Lecturer Program. Sigma Chi maintains what might be called a Speakers Bureau of Distinguished Lecturers and encourages its chapters to invite them to speak. Now, a few months ago, Dr. Gettleman started reminding me that, hey, we need to do this. And I began thinking, wow, who could we invite, especially on the heels of the Beneath the Same Sky program, which drew so many people back in December. I couldn't arrange another astronomy program. Yes, I believe astronomy is the prince of the sciences, and everything else in science is just a Johnny come lately. But even I understand the need for variety. Okay, and so then I looking through the Sigma Chi Distinguished Lecturers list, and I saw there a professor from Minnesota who had a subject that might draw people in almost as much as astronomy, cannabis. And so a few emails, some legwork, and we have Professor George Weiblen speaking to us tonight. Professor Weiblen is Science Director and Herbarium Curator at the Bell Museum of Natural History of the University of Minnesota in St. Paul, and the Distinguished McKnight University Professor of Plant Biology there. He got his bachelor's from Reed College in Portland, Oregon, and his master's and doctorate from Harvard University, all in biology. He studies figs, mulberries, nettles, hops, and hemp, and maintains the first Drug Enforcement Administration permit for cannabis DNA research in the United States. He is also interested in biodiversity discovery, ecology, and conservation of tropical forests, and has been on over 20 expeditions to Papua New Guinea. And I confess this does compete with astronomy and out and out coolness. He has published a bucket load of stuff, and he is here tonight to talk to you about the Cannabis Conundrum, the science and politics of America's most controversial plant. Please give a warm global welcome to Professor George Weiblen.
Thank you all for joining this event. This is my first experience in Louisville. I'm really enjoying it, and it's an appropriate time for a cannabis researcher to be coming to Kentucky, as we'll see. And some of you in the audience may have more experience with this plant than I do, but I'd like to tell you about the work I've been doing at the University of Minnesota over the past, I guess it's about 14 years now, since we obtained permission from the Department of Justice to do work, basic work in an academic setting on cannabis. And I want to introduce the topic, frame it up around what we'll call the ethnobotany of cannabis. That's the study of plants and their relationship to humans. I'm a botanist by training. This is a plant that has a long human history, and we will make our way toward the genetic research that I've been doing after covering some of the history of the plant. And then, because there is so much attention devoted to cannabis as a potential medicine at this point, even though I'm not a physician, I get so many questions about this. I've included a component that talks about some of the science and politics surrounding cannabis as medicine as well. Now, this plant is one of the earliest domesticated plants, one of the first plants that humans cultivated. We've got archaeological evidence dating back to 12,000 BC. It was cultivated throughout pretty much every major ancient civilization on this planet, except for those here in the Americas. The seeds were a staple grain in ancient China. The stems are a source of fiber for rope, cloth, paper, twine, etc. And then, of course, the dried flowers are used as a recreational drug and medicine throughout the world. Cannabis came to the Americas with the colonists, and in fact, our founding fathers grew hemp on their plantations. There's a quote in Thomas Jefferson's garden book that is rather amusing. He says, "I presume we may lay aside tobacco entirely, and the more we lay aside, the happier I'll be. It's vastly desirable to be getting underway with our domestic cultivation of hemp." Now, after the introduction of cannabis to the Americas, primarily at that time as a fiber crop, the plant went on to be grown by American farmers during both world wars, where it provided a domestic supply of the fibers needed to make the canvas and the rope for the war effort, particularly when the European and Asian markets were shut off to us during those wars. Now, after World War II, this industry declined in the United States, but since then, the plant had long escaped from cultivation, and it persists today as a weed throughout ditches and roadside areas all over the United States.